In 1952, a commission was set up to figure out how to build a tunnel between England and France across the English Channel. This would later be called the Channel. And the commission sent out telegrams across the world saying, tell us your plan and how much this would cost. And the commission received a bid from Denmark for 1 million Danish krone, and they're great engineers there, and the commission said this was a very good bid. And then the commission received a bid internally from France for 1 million francs, and again the commission said this was a very good bid. And the commission was going to make a decision, but then they got a telegram from the law offices of Shapiro and Shapiro in Brooklyn, New York, to build a tunnel for $28.74. Now, the commission thought there has to be some kind of mistake, but if it wasn't, if for the small chance it wasn't, this was worth checking out. So the commission took a ship across the Atlantic and got to Brooklyn, New York. They found an office building on Putnam Avenue. It's an old office building. They went up the stairs, second floor, third door down on the left. The head of the commission knocked. An old man, Mr. Shapiro, opened the door. The head of the commission said, excuse me, are you Mr. Shapiro? Mr. Shapiro said, yes, I am Mr. Shapiro, and that man over there is Mr. Shapiro. The head of the commission continued, we received a bid from your law office to build a tunnel for which we leave the commission for $28.74. Is that correct? Mr. Shapiro said, that is correct. We received bids, the head of the commission continued, for 1 million krone and francs by teams involving the whole countries. How are you going to do it for $28.74? Well, Mr. Shapiro began, my brother and I are both going to go to the store, and we're going to buy 2 shovels, and I'm going to start in England, and my brother, Mr. Shapiro, is going to start in France, and we'll both start digging, and we'll meet in the middle, and you'll have your tunnel. Now, one of the younger members of the commission was just listening to all this and bewildered, and he blurted out, but what happens if you don't meet in the middle? Now, Mr. Shapiro thought about this for a moment and said, well, then you'll have 2 tunnels. Today I'd like to talk about what makes a Jewish joke a Jewish joke. And I want to do that in the context of astrophysics and the subtext of what you should do with the rest of your life. Now, before I get into it, I want to say that I sympathize with the apparent challenge of what's going to be a long analysis of Jewish jokes, given the difficulty of the last 5 years. You all applied to college during COVID, had to transition to a new environment, and to be with people again. You witnessed the rise of the use of AI that not just students, but professors are figuring out in real time. And you've been at college during a time when colleges have become the battleground of questions of what it means to be Jewish and how Jewish people should be treated. You all, as college seniors, have had enough of a burden to figure out who you want to be. As Jews these last few years, you've had to answer for who you already are. But I think, precisely because these last 5 years have been hard, it's important to spend the time and analyze what makes a Jewish joke a Jewish joke. So, as a good scientist, it's important for me to work with more than one data point. So let me go over a shorter, much more famous Jewish joke that probably you all have heard. The joke is that 2 elderly Jewish women are at a fancy restaurant. The first one says, this soup is terrible. And the second one says, I know, and it's such small portions. Okay, so let's do this as scientists. Think for a second of how these 2 jokes are so clearly Jewish, but also how they have so much in common. The second joke is funny, because if the soup is terrible, why should it matter that the portion size is small? Why would one want more soup? The first joke is funny because if Shapiro fails to make the first tunnel, he thinks he'll have 2. There'll be more tunnels. In both jokes, in the face of hardship, of something not working out, the Jewish person asks for more. So let's break this down in an even deeper, more analytical level. There are 3 components to these jokes, and I'd like to go through them. The first is expectation. Now, in a standard joke, the joke itself forms the expectation. The first guy does this, the second guy does that, and the third guy does the punchline. But in a Jewish joke, there is a deeper level of expectation. There is some level of expectation of things to be terrible. Shapiro quickly has a solution when told things won't work out. The second lady says, I know, after the first one says the soup is terrible. The expectation of things not working out was quickly assumed or expected. Now, this expectation has been earned, as we all know, over multiple millennia. We all are now living through the worst period of anti-Semitism, at least in the last 50 years. But it's not new. From an astrophysics perspective, we're here in a solar system, and we are literally right now moving 500,000 miles per hour. You probably don't feel it, but we are. We are on a very small rock right now, hurtling through space extremely fast, and we have other rocks coming at us at all times. And that's just from the outside. From the inside, there's war, there's sickness. We do all sorts of bad things. We are a bunch of flawed humans living on a speeding rock, hurtling through space. So like our ancestors have done for so many years, we should and can expect at some level things will be terrible. Okay. Now, the second element of a Jewish joke, though, is ambition. Now, ambition feels like a hard word to say these days. Who should be allowed to be ambitious? Duke will often say its students are outrageously ambitious, and if they're okay with it, I'm okay with it. So, for Shapiro, it was about building the channel. For the two ladies, it was about going to a fancy restaurant and expecting a large portion of very tasty soup. That's ambition. But ambition to me is wanting something more of this world than the randomness that our universe typically gives. It's about wanting to leave the world a little bit better than how you saw it. Now, my grandfather, who was a rabbi, he'd have this thing about whether or not we're alone in this universe. So I would answer, as an astrophysicist, well, given that there's 100 billion galaxies, and there's 100 billion stars per galaxy, and there's one Earth-like planet for every 5 stars, there should be some other life out there. But my grandfather had this thing of, well, what if we're it? What if, in the 13 billion years that our universe has been around, with the billions of light years our universe stretches, we're the only things out there? Would that change how you think about your life? We have this brief instant of living here in this extremely long history of the universe on this very tiny rock. Will you not make the most of it? Will you not laugh a little longer? Tell that person how you really feel about them? Go for that job that you really want? If we're here for just one brief flash in this nearly infinite universe, should we not at least be a little ambitious? This has always been a Jewish trait. Yes, the world is terrible, but we can do something. We can make it a little bit better. We can ask for more soup. Now the third and final component of a Jewish joke is community. The two ladies dine together. The Shapiro brothers plan to meet in the middle. Neither are alone. In the recent Artemis crew that went around the moon, the astronaut, Christina Cook, who is actually from Durham, had this great bit when she got back about what the word crew means, and how it's this group of people who are stuck together really close to each other, that have to work hard together. And when she was out in space, looking back at the Earth, she realized that us here on Earth are actually a crew. It was a beautiful thought and something tremendously important. This crazy world that we try to make some sense of in our short-term here cannot be traversed alone. For many Jews, what Judaism gives us first and foremost is a community to belong to. And even on even more local level, what Duke and JLD try so hard to do is provide an additional community for you all. One that can last your whole lifetime. There are friends here, likely some of which you're sitting next to right now, who are your crew. They'll be the people you start companies with, that you build channels with, that you eat soup with when you're old. To make your life like one great Jewish joke, these are the people you have to hold on to. So these are the 3 things that make a Jewish joke, and perhaps words of advice. First is to expect, at some level, things will be awful. Second is to say, yes, but given all that, what can I do? What can we do with a short amount of time here? And third is to do this with people, to have your crew and your community. So class of 2026, here's my charge for you. You have now bought your shovels. You are now tooled to build your channels between ideas, between countries, and between loved ones. You can dig, knowing that many things won't go your way in the future. That you're here with nearly incomprehensibly small odds to be here, for each of your ancestors to meet when they did, for the conditions of the universe to be as they are, for us to be here. You can dig, knowing that, being here, the universe doesn't owe you anything else. That you can and should make your own channels. And you can dig, knowing that in 10 or 50 years, there's a place here at Duke for you all to come back and meet in the middle. That there's a crew here that knew you just when you were figuring it all out. Class of 2026, I salute you. I'm so excited to see what you'll build. So please start digging.